Hey, okay, we can hear me.
There
Cool.
we are.
Welcome to What the Heck. We have Bar Talk, and I just got a ping. Hold on. Maybe somebody else. and eventually enthusiastic electrons. So it's gonna be a good one. Uh, all right, let's do intros super fast. I don't think we did this last time because uh, I forgot. I was a mess.
Yes.
It's been a minute. So who are you and what headphones are you wearing?
I'm Bartok, and I'm wearing some Sony. What are these? MDR 7506 Professional
Wait, hold
with
on.
EMS.
MDR 7506 professionals. These ones?
Yes.
I think those are these. I have
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, with the coily cable?
The coily cable.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This is actually my first set of studio headphones ever, and I love the sound. They're pretty comfortable, but I hated the coily cable.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Why?
uh, just in the nature of Cosmo, I'm like standing up and moving around a bit, and the
Okay.
coily cable is it adds a little bit of tension because it's largely just kind of hanging there like that.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as other headphones I have, like the other pair of AKGs I have that have the mic on them have like the heaviest coil I've ever seen. That thing like straight up pulls the headset off sideways a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I'm gonna probably make a cable for that one. But these are not that. These are a newer set of headphones that I'm sort of trying to break in and get a feel for, and they're the uh, Audio Technica. Um, hold on. ATH M50X, like the go-to monitor headphones, which is weird because I'm not used to not hearing myself because I like open back headphones, but trying to get used to them, so I'm wearing them.
So, yeah, I would say this is my second pair. Before this, I had some open back, but due to noise complaints, I switched to these.
I just cracked a beer and it foamed everywhere, so I'll be
Yeah,
right
go
back.
take care of that, and I'll keep them entertained. So, headphones, exciting talk. Um, I got these on Amazon. I think they're like $80, and they work great. I've never had a very expensive pair of headphones, and for what I do, which is just record my own tracks on my system and play them back on my laptop, they sound great. And that's about all I have to say about that. This is What the Heck Wednesdays, temporarily switching to Wednesdays due to time constraints, but you can also catch us on Sundays. But we'll be back on a Sunday schedule, I think, in a month or two.
All right, I'm like 0 for 2 on this set of beer. Oh well. Tastes good though. All right. That really killed me. Anyway, these headphones, I think they're good. They have like more bass response than my other ones, so I don't know if that'll make my mixes better or worse. We'll see.
Yeah, so I have such a hard time getting a mix dialed in, and I don't know if headphones make that difficult, but what do you usually listen to directly, like on your headphones? Do you, so for example, my system, I have 1/4 inch outs from the Bufaco expander that are running into my PreSonus interface, and for a while I was listening to the headphones off of the PreSonus,
Hmm.
but then I switched to my headphone output on my Urac case,
Yeah.
and that sounded way better. So, which one should I be listening to? Is that indicative of a setting that I have to fix on my interface, or is that just how it is?
Uh, I'm not like the greatest to answer, but I've run into some weird stuff. So I'm just gonna talk about what I know. So I tend to listen through my mixer, either your rack or in this case I have the mixer just over my head here.
Uh huh.
Um, so I'm listening to that mix. When I go, um, what's happening from there is that is going into the A10 Mini, that device somewhere around there. Actually, the lit up one. I'm not sure what I'm pointing to. But the A10 is effectively my audio interface. It's where my video and audio are coming from. The reason I'm doing that is because I like to stream, and this sort of keeps the audio and video pretty much synced up. But when I've used other audio interfaces, or even with this software, like my first stream ever with this software was like a heavy metal concert, because I needed to go in and open up the A10 software control and look and see like, okay, the gain on it is extremely high. So yeah, Metatron is saying like, what I'm getting at is, other than the gain being high on mine, there's not anything else happening. There's no EQ, there's nothing. So I'm pretty confident listening through my mixer. I don't know if the PreSonus has something happening, like it sounds like your interface might have Metatron says there's a DC filter, which I don't really know what that difference will make. But my other guess might be if there's like a little bit of EQ or something happening through the interface software.
Right, and I mean, from what I can see, I have all of that off, because I can add some effects to the different inputs and the outputs, but I don't use anything. But maybe I just got to dig deeper and figure something out. But I was getting really disappointed with like how things were sounding, and then I plugged in straight into my output, and it sounded great. So
what happens when you listen back? Like if you're playing a track and record it in your computer, and you play it back right away, so you have a good feel of what it's supposed to sound like to you. I'm wondering if the streams have a different feel. That's sort of what I check just to make sure I'm not like doing anything weird. Is after a stream, sometimes I'll check to make sure gain's not too high or whatever.
I'll probably have to pay attention to that. I haven't tested it.
Yeah, it's yeah. I also tend to like watch my streams later with different headphones, like consumer headphones, not studio. So consumer being like they probably have bass boosting and stuff like that happening, just to see how it feels. And that's how I try to mix with my AKG. So far, everything sounds pretty good. My AKG headphones. And those are a little light on the bass. So I was concerned that like when I listened back with bass headphones, it would be really boomy and gnarly in the low frequencies, but it's not too bad. So I kind of lucked out there. But one of the weird things is with these monitors, I was playing with them a little. I've been using them a little more than usual, like actual like speakers, and it makes me question my mixes a little more, because when I play through the speakers, I can mix really quite nice to how it sounds good when I'm sitting in the right spot for the speakers, etc. Then I put on my headphones and things are just wrong, like either the bass is too low or high, I can't remember, but like the mix is like way off. So I'm wondering if I need to practice more with the speakers just to get a feel. Yeah, it's coming through a room mic. I apologize. I didn't want to do the headset mic today. I have another mic eventually coming to be better for this stuff, but I didn't want to do the headset mic because I'd have to be stuck over here, and I don't want to pull my mixer off the shelf. That almost happened last week, so I'm don't want to risk that.
So what mic do you have coming?
It's a mic I've never even used. It's the shoot something go. I don't know if it's Roland. No, it's not Roland Go. The Roland Go is a mixer. It's the Sennheiser maybe, or I don't know. Anyway, it's a little lapel mic thing that also I have an even smaller mic that can attach to it, so it can like sit on the belt or something. Rode, yeah, it's the Rode Wireless Go or something like that. And it's entirely for like this kind of thing when I'm wandering around the room, so I can wear headphones that sound good with my music, and I can hear your music accurately. Yeah, it's the Wireless Go too. So that's what I'm looking forward to. It could be worse. I have no idea. I don't even know how to set it up. So we'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it'll be better than the laptop mic, I think.
Yeah. So that's cool. So then it's a little wireless lapel connection.
Right, because I wanted the ability. So the AKG headphones I have, I'll probably sell. Like I was thinking of like customizing the cord for them. And when I say the AKG headphones, I have like an AKG set of headphones that have a mic built in, which has a really cool feature where if I put the mic up, it mutes it. But the cables are really bad, and it's tuned, despite saying like studio headphones or something, it's sort of tuned to mid to high frequencies for vocal frequencies with the intention that it's trying to raise the levels of voices, so people talking to me while I'm doing it. But that also means like when I'm playing stuff, if I try to mix anything with those on, like the bass is going to be boomy, that kind of thing. So this is an attempt to modify that, because what I would like to do more like, hey, this is what I'm doing, but I need two hands to do it.
Right.
Versus like I can use the phone, but that's one hand where I have to talk into. Yeah. So,
right.
And the receiver can interface with my laptop directly over USB-C. That's cool. I'm hoping the receiver can also connect to my mixer is really what I want. I should probably have looked into that. Otherwise, there's just some mic finagling I have to do. You know what? Actually, I can add it as a second source for most streaming things, just not this particular streaming thing. Cool. Yeah, I kind of figured that. So I'm looking forward to that. I ordered it like weeks and weeks ago. Yeah, cool.
I'm gonna check that out because I've been doing those streams with Egon.
Right, so you see my pain, right? Like you don't necessarily want to be switching between like laptop and thing, or like it's hard. So like that's my attempt. I'll let you know how it goes on like Saturday, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try that. Been starting to really jive with some of my Eurorack modules, which is pretty cool. I'm really enjoying the drums. I'm really enjoying the new filters. It's been a good couple weeks.
Sorry, I'm starting to lose my light, so turning on the room light.
Oh, no worries. And I sort of had a filter off, like a competition between my filters before the stream, just to like see if I wanted to keep one or not. The 100 grit is a really good filter / distortion. It's high quality and really fun. But I think it's going to go because it's in terms of my specific taste in music, I really like the way the Trashmaster sounds, and it's very similar at a high level, like they're both distortion / filters. I just like the Trashmaster a little better, so that was a shootout I was doing earlier. That was pretty fun. You can hear that too.
What about interfacing with them? Because isn't the grit like it's got dials, and the Trashmaster's the Thrashmaster is sliders, right?
Oh yeah, maybe it is the Thrashmaster. I thought it was the Trashmaster. I don't know. Let's find out. No, it's TRS, so I'm guessing Trashmaster. because it's like cheesy electro in genre. Um, Yeah, so the difference in interface, like the 100 grit has the touch points, which are without a doubt super cool, because you're sort of circuit bending it a little bit with your body as the wire, or you can use actual patch cables and things like that. But I found the other controls weren't quite as like gnarly or responsive. It's actually, in my opinion, kind of a mellow filter. Like if you go just on the output and you mess with the filter and crank the resonance up and like do some filter sweeps, like it's a really mellow, pleasant filter. I don't think it self-resonates all that much, if any. And then when I go into distortion, that's when you can, like I don't hear a lot of change on the resonance from 0 to full. Like that's one of the problems I had with it. It's not bad, it's a great sound. But with my particular mix, I found the Trash Master cut through just a little more, because it's a little more formanty. It's got like a high pass filter in it and stuff like that. So it's just a different sound. And the distortion on it is quite nice. So pretty cool. But I think that's the end of the 100 grit for me. So if anyone wants 100 grit, hit me up. And the reason I started looking, I was sort of going to be more patient about it and try out more things. And I have tried out a few bass and leads and stuff. Is that I ordered the filtered crows because I'm a sucker. And I actually really did like the way that resonance response on the filtered crows worked. So, yeah.
How big is that one?
The filter of crows, I think it's like 10 HP, which is kind of big for a filter, but I think that's okay. I think with a filter, I'm happy to have the space so that when I'm cranking the cutoff knob, it's a little more
right.
It's less like I feel like the MS-22, which I really want, is not something I can really be wild with unless the modules next to it have a lot of space.
Yeah, and that's kind of like so it's going to be hard to see, but mine is tucked away right here in the middle, down this little row. And it's definitely hard to get to where maybe I should move it, but I might send it your way.
You want to trade? I'm only like not joking, like kind of serious. Like if you want to try 100 grit, I'm happy to trade.
Right, we can do a loan to each other and just test it out. I'm down for that. Yeah,
I'm totally cool with that.
All right.
Yeah, because I do want to test out the MS-22 because it's one thing to hear demos, right? It's another to actually see how it sounds with your stuff and the way you like to play.
Yeah.
And like feel the resonance response and all of that stuff. So yeah, that'd be really cool. I'd be down with that. I think I'll probably send it sooner than later, just because I was going to send it with another package that's coming your way, but I think the key switches are going to take a minute coming from China. So.
All right. Well, I'll wrap it up.
Cool.
But that's like a great point you mentioned. Is listening to demos is really not as effective as actually getting a module and playing with it.
Right.
And no fault of the person making the demo. It's just everybody's system is so unique in how you plan on using it, and it just makes it really, really hard to listen to a module and then you go out and buy it, you plug it in, and it's completely different.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not necessarily talking about. Yeah, so I watched a bunch of demos, and like typically on modules I'm not sure about, I'll do that. And some of the demos will have like, MS-22 filter through like some reverb, right? Like that doesn't really help me a ton, although it's fun to listen to. Like, okay, that's possible that way. But
right.
But the ones that are like really boring demos, especially with filters, where they're like resonance at 9 o'clock, filter sweep. Resonance at noon, filter sweep. Like those help me more than anything else. Because then I can get a feel of like, especially with filters, like that curve. I don't know. I'm very picky about filters, I guess.
It is a deep module.
Yeah, look at that. That's why I didn't want to build it. It looked a little fiddly, and the thought of like if I messed something up, having to take it apart was not something I was stoked about. So, yeah. It's a deep module, but I've got 20, well, really like 18 centimeters of depth, so I'm good there.
Yeah.
KF7IJZ. Is that your? That's wait.
That's like
is this
That's like a ham radio thing, right?
It is a ham radio call sign. I recognize that one, I think. Let me check my DMs. Sorry, everything is really tiny and in the wrong spot. Yeah, I think it's probably radiator. Yeah, radiator! Yeah. Oh, called it. Awesome. I'm stoked that your MS-22 is arriving. Like I think that's one of the few, like that looks like an MS-20 filter done right, where they haven't like tried to make it sound pleasant. Like it can, but it also can be like pretty harsh in a good way.
Yeah.
I kind of like having that range. Yeah, so. And the filter of crows looks also really interesting to me because that's an example of a filter that I've not had access to on any of my devices, where it's a really smooth filter, at least when it's in the stable mode. And that could be really fun as well for like those really smooth like funk bass lines and stuff. What's up, CK? We're talking crows. Yeah, or filters in general. So I've also gotten a couple of modules that like didn't work properly. And that was sort of bummer. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I was a little bit sad that I missed the original crow because I was curious, but the filter of crows with the moon on it and the easier to read text and probably a black panel, I can't quite tell. Happy with that. The bat looks really cool. The wolf was the one I was the least excited about, but I was only, I don't know, I'm saving my money for Friday. Yeah. Hoping to send a bunch of money to some folks on Friday. I'll sell you my original crow for $4K.
Best I can do is $40.
I'll give you like $4K and like Russian 4K.
Rubles?
Rubles, yeah. How much is that in US? Shout out to my Russian friends and not to the Russian government. I hope bad things happen to the government. Anyway, try not to get political. What is Friday? I can't say. And I only have rumors to go on, so I'm not going to repeat them. I'm just excited. So fingers crossed, cool stuff is announced Friday. If not, oh well. We'll just have to wait for Super Booth for stuff. Also, Super Booth's in like a week and a half or something like that, and normally I could not care less, right? But since joining a number of these modular discords, it's come up like in a lot of them pretty regularly. So now I'm actually like kind of excited about it. So that's a weird thing that's happening to me this year. Where should we be watching? I can't say either because like those questions might give it away. You'll like I won't be quiet about it when it's out.
Yeah, I was gonna say watch Hack 7 because
like if we're friends on Discord, like if we're on the same Discord servers, like you're gonna see it. So don't worry about it. because I think it's really cool and I want everybody to have one. So, what's up? What else is cool? Some other things that I'm excited about ordering on Friday are the Doopfer theremin. I want to use that for filters, that kind of stuff.
Oh, you're gonna get the theremin?
I am going to get the theremin. It's going to go right over here, like the furthest corner away, so that like I'm not accidentally theremining when I'm not intending to.
Right. All right. So a question on that, because I've wanted to get it just to play with it, but is it an actual theremin and you're sending the audio in, or is it controlling like CV, and then that's making an adjustment wherever it's patched to, or does it do both?
It's I'm pretty sure it's just the latter. Well, hold on, let me rephrase this. So a theremin is made of two antennas. One, I believe on the right is pitch. I had to think in reverse because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on regular theremins. The right is pitch and the left is volume. So you have to like do the pat your head, rub your stomach thing while playing, which is really weird. But this is just essentially one of those antennas, and you can use it for pitch. You can use it for CV because it's just outputting voltage based on proximity.
Right.
So in this case, I saw somebody on Colorado Modular Society during Freak Boutique play, and they had one in their case, and they were using it for the filter, and I just thought, not only is it really fun to do, because you're playing with this futuristic thingy, it's hard to mess up, it looks cool, the audience has a very clear idea that okay, when I move my hand, things go wow, 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 wow. So how often is that the case in modular? Even with 100 grit, unless you know what 100 grit is and I have a good camera angle on it, I'm touching the things, you can't really see what's happening that's changing it.
Right.
So wave ring and wave front 4 HP. That is cool.
So radiator saying though it's just CV generator.
Yeah, right. You can use it for pitch. It's just outputting CV and you can adjust, I think, the range.
Okay.
And attenuate.
Yeah, those wave rings are really cool too.
Mm-hmm. That'll be really cool. The first time I ever saw those was an electric kitchen.
Yes. Yeah.
Performance, and that's when I was okay, the thing I thought was super gimmicky is the coolest ever. That is incredible. I cannot wait to see what you do at CK, especially since you can control probably more than one dimension. The theremin is going to be essentially one CV output, whereas the ring you could have up and down, and it has all sorts of different angles, and it's very cool. So
and how big is it? It's not very big, right?
The theremin? No, it's I want to say 10 HP, maybe less. 8. I think it's 10. No. 8. I think it's 8 HP. Yeah. And the other thing I'm looking at getting is that moon lander or something like that. I forget the name of the module, but it's the one that makes you sound like a space person. And the reason I'm getting that is to hook up to my telephone, sort of semi-permanently, right? Just keep that in there.
And sound like a space person.
Right, and then I can do some other things pull out the noise and things like that if I really want to get funky. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Looks like somebody just popped into, I don't know. We'll see, somebody might be joining soon. I don't know. And then the last thing, who was the last thing? I don't remember. Okay, yeah. Hey, we have a third person. Just a sec. I gotta. Oh, there for a second. There we go.
I'm here.
All right. Who are you, and what headphones do you wear typically? You're not wearing any, so bad question.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes.
We can hear you.
Great. I just plugged things in. All right. Well, I am enthusiastic electrons. People call me Tim, and I'm down here at my desk. I've got this what I I wear most of the time. These are the AKG 240 Mark II.
Yeah.
I
I
had
love
the
those headphones.
I had the original ones, which in like 1998, I asked a pro sound friend of mine. I was like, "What headphones should I get?" And he's like, "Get the AKG 240s. They're the ones that I keep repairing. Everyone I know, like other phones break. You get new ones. This one I repair. They're workhorse. I have those forever. And then last like 2 years ago, when I started working with those on all the time, I thought I'd break. I had different headphones that I wore all the time. I broke those out, and it was they did not work anymore, and they were like decades old. So I got these new ones. They're great.
They're like the most comfortable. I mean, the reason I love AKGs so much isn't necessarily the sound quality. Like they have pretty good sound quality, but the comfort of them cannot be topped. Like they're the single most comfortable headphones I've ever had.
And then I got these because I was working like 10 hours a day with headphones on. Pandemic.
Are those biodynamic? Which ones are those?
These are the biodynamic. Some people in some forum were talking about how great they were. So, and I was like, I'm gonna buy more headphones and write them off. Sure.
I was looking at those too, and then there's also those giant headphones that Heinbach have that just make his head look small, which I
These are just
for like.
These are really comfortable. They sound nice. They were great, and then the jack broke.
Oh.
So now they don't sound like much of anything. They've got a no pass filter built in.
That's pretty handy though, because like in case there's a harsh noise or something.
Yeah, no. They're loud. Plug into the 100 grit, take it right off.
Oh yeah, easy peasy.
No, I think I haven't been able to repair that yet. I will.
Yeah, that's an easy fix.
The show and tell.
Yeah.
Grados.
Yeah, I've got some Grados too. I don't think those are as comfortable, but the price point is pretty perfect for what their sound is. Like they're great sounding.
But yeah, I'd say, but these are the ones I use the most, and then I also use the Sony. I don't have them here somewhere else. The Sony, whatever that standard one is that I have.
Yeah, me and Bartok both have it. It's the MDR 7506. These ones.
Yep.
Good. Great headphones as well.
So, anyway, I've said before, in the discussions, but it's funny because I wore those and then I switched to these, and they're really great. But then suddenly I couldn't. The mix was all different for certain sound effects because the bass is a lot higher. It's just such a flatter response on the Sony. So so I always wear those when I have to do a mix that I know is going to be played back on not great speakers. Something you can hear everything. I don't do professional mixes, but I do professional rough mixes. Other people can hear what's going on. So so generally I'll edit with these mostly, and then I'll do music with these, and then throw those on if I need to. Hear the flat response or be in a noisy area, and I don't want to hear the outside noise.
That's cool. Shock value when you do some headphone shopping, hit us up. Like my advice would be to skimp or just don't get speakers, because I hardly ever use mine. Like if you have other people in your house, speakers just don't get used as much as you'd like, unless they really like your music. I don't know. I'm not in that situation, so I wear headphones. So I get the ones that are the most comfortable, because I might wear them for like an hour before I stream, and the stream might go for an hour. So like 2 hours with these things will crush my ears to the point where I don't want to wear them anymore. These are the Audio Technica MDX or whatever, standards, ATH M50X or whatever. Yeah. I don't like that feeling. Like they sound good, I just don't like open back. Don't touch my ears too much. Improbable Safari. You had a really nice set earlier. I don't know what you were worried about. It was great. Good job. Really nice ambient, lots of reverb. Very cool.
But also, if I could just say the telly there is Safari complimented. It's about to get completely modded, because it's actually the
Yeah.
bottom level, entry level Squire, because I was building before I discovered Eurorack. I was building pedals for build your own clone, because I just wanted to know, I was like, I want to hear what electricity sounds like and everything, but I had nothing to put through the pedals, so I got this just to make some sounds, although I don't really play very well. But it buzzes. It's never really brought me a lot of joy. It's okay though, but but a friend of mine gave me a new neck that I'm going to put on there someday soon. And I was like, well, since I've got the new neck, which is a genuine Fender, really nice, dark, beautiful neck, I was like, might as well get some other, upgrade everything else. So I'm going to be upgrading everything on this, except for the body and the
except for the body. Yeah.
What, we're getting out of modular, and I don't care. What what pickups are you gonna add?
The guitar pedal thing. So
yeah, what pickups are you gonna use? Are you gonna keep using some single coils, or are you gonna go to something different?
No, I've got one single coil and then one that's I think it's a humbucker, but designed to fit in there. So
cool.
I forget what they are. I bought them a while back.
That'll be rad. That'll be cool. I'm excited to see it done in a stream at some point, even if it's just like strumming and sending like whatever your reverb is into chaos.
Have you gotten in there already? Taking the old electronics out?
Not yet. No, it's just.
I mean,
okay.
It looks pretty.
One good thing about it is that your soldering is going to be so much better than what's on there right now.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Even if you stay with the old stuff and resolder everything, it's going to be so much better. I've taken those apart, and it's like, how do they get away with this?
Yeah.
And I've watched like professional guitar builders put together guitars, and when it gets to the soldering point, my judgment just. I'm like, how are you selling this for $3,000? Like, the entire point of this is the electronics, an electric guitar, right? Like, and that's the worst solder job I've ever seen.
So bad.
Like, that's gonna fall apart. So, yeah, you will have better solder job than me. Speaking of solder jobs, I got a module working last night, and it didn't light on fire or nothing. Put in one wrong LED, but that's okay. It should be a bipolar LED, and now it's just a single pole, which means that it'll only light up one direction, but it won't break anything, so all good. The night before, I still had burns in my finger from that stuff, but you looked at your guitar, closed it. It's a great guitar. That's great. I've been doing that as well. Like, and I wish I could live in a place. Well, I don't. I love where I live, but I wish there was a little more humidity here, so I could like have my favorite guitar on the wall, kind of thing. If I care about a guitar, it has to live in a case with a humidifier and all that stuff. So annoying. Anyway, back on modular. What's up, Frederick? How's it going? What are you up to? What modules have you bought recently? How's your custom case that you put together? Do you still have the wasp filter? There we go. 6 questions. We have 20 seconds to hang out and wait for Frederick. Tim, I gotta say, like, your setup just gets cooler every year. Like, I really like the case that you built for your various coasts. Well,
thanks.
Controllers and the Eurorack on the right side. Like, it just is super cool.
Yeah, I've gotten more actually yesterday. I just got a saw to cut the wood at 90-degree angles, unlike my hand saw. So,
like, so you got like a miter saw or like a table saw or what?
Compound miter saw.
Okay, cool.
And so it's actually, just and so I have the rails. I think I mentioned I'm going to build a 104 HP 6U case that's just more of a travel, like go somewhere and I don't have anything. It'll have a lid. And then
is it going to be a single row or 2 rows?
2 rows, but no shelf there.
Okay.
But then I'm also making one that's basically going to be the same as that, like the shelf and then 2 rows next to it. But the 2 rows are going to be 40 HP, so it's basically going to be the same width. So half will be the notebook and the other half will be just a couple modulars to play with that. So it's really going to be something around the notebooks thing, and that's going to be smaller, also portable. So that was my original setup. Like when I first started out, I was like, I'm going to base everything and get this notebook and build out from there. And so, at this point, like it's a separate thing because I have enough other modules going on. But I still like that idea. Have that as an instrument, really just keep it as focused as possible.
Cool. Yeah, that's an idea I've been sort of toying with. Is like, what do I want to do to like make a little portable thing? I don't know if I want to or not. I think I'm sort of like, I think my current Eurorack case is about as portable as I'm gonna get with modular for the foreseeable future. I can carry it. It fits in my car. That's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's almost full, so I shouldn't weigh too much more. Although, you can see it's kind of a mess because I don't have any more short cables, but I'm working on that. Well, I'm not. Somebody is. Got some more bar top cables coming my way eventually. I'm excited.
I just wanted to say, I know I need to get some of those. I'm going to get some.
I will say, like
this little case. I'm going to get some good wood for that too.
Yeah, I was very surprised, Bart. They're done really nicely. Like here, let's pull this random one and just see. Like, I like that they use pretty much the same housing as my 1/4-inch cases, just like slightly smaller. Really nice and tidy and shrink wrapped. Never had any connection issues with any of them, so I'm definitely using all of them. So I'm really happy. I have actually a pile of 1/4-inch cables over there that are my to repair pile.
I just wanted to show one thing, like before we totally leave the guitar. We've left guitar, but just this, because there are so few components inside that guitar, and now I'm used to, buying a lot more for, these are slightly more complex than what's inside a guitar.
Yeah.
Basically, replacing the insides, it's just like a couple potentiometers and then a capacitor.
Yeah.
And I was like, all it is like one capacitor. So,
yeah.
So I went big, and this is the most expensive capacitor I've ever bought. It's what is it? It's
what was it, like $2?
0.001 UF. No, it's orange drop. It was $5.50.
What?
One
That's like you could get like 300 capacitors for that.
I was like, this guitar is gonna.
It's gonna sound like $5. It's gonna be so good.
I know. The only thing, I got some Fender tuners here. The only thing is like probably one of the key components I'm not replacing, the bridge. I can't because the body's a different depth. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. The bridge is a little more involved, I think. I don't know. I never really messed with the bridge.
The next, I was like at that point, I was just like,
I mean, the neck's pretty brave alone, so we'll see. I'm curious to see how that goes too. Maybe it's just bolt on, it'll just work perfectly.
I wish I could show you my friend, though. The friend who sent me the neck, he built this guitar it's the most beautiful guitar. Like he does a lot of DIY stuff, and it's a neck. I don't know what kind of neck, but the body is basically just boards, and he didn't cut them into a guitar shape, and there's a gap in between, so it looks like a picket fence kind of. So it's like just old boards.
Oh, that's cool.
But he has the hardware on it, and it works, and it's great.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Now you got me thinking about the insides of guitars. I think that's like ripe for hacking. Like if you know anything about modular and you've built a few modules, like once you look at a guitar, you're like, there's so much space in here to do things with. We could put a whole synthesizer in here. Why not? And I've seen some folks do it, some more successful than others. I think it'd be great to like incorporate like, I don't know, a big honking button in your guitar, you know, like.
Very good. So how many kits do you have lying around typically at a time?
How many what?
You just kits, like you just have like a stack of kits, or do you sort of build as you go? Like you have a couple and you build them, then you get more, or you just have like a big store?
Most of my stuff is Cosmo, and I go through phases where I'm paying more attention to the forums than others, and typically I'm keeping an eye out for folks who are like, I'm going to build a Morse code module, and I'm like, heck yeah, if you have extra PCBs, hit me up after, you know? And so that's how I accumulate a few more kits. I fell behind because of my second to last BOM bill material order. I missed key components for every single kit. Like, I don't understand how I did that, but like a key IC, like a specific diode, some surface mount things that I didn't catch were surface mount. Every single one I missed stuff on. So that was why I have so many sort of lying around. I think I have 5 of that particular set and then a handful more. So they're just sort of accumulated in that sense, because there's an aspect of like, well, if I don't get it when it's available, like it's just, I'm either gonna have to like see if they've open sourced it and like order PCBs myself and like go through a lot of hassle, or I could just like help fund them to keep making cool stuff. So I choose the latter. Yeah, so that's why I have so many. I think I have probably around 6 to 8 kits right now, and many of those will get built pretty quick in the next month or 2. Because that bottom case is a Cosmo project that I've been sitting on for a while. That one is going to be the anything goes case. Color, design, doesn't matter. I don't care what goes in that case. It's going to be cool. Yeah, so that's why I have so many. It's not necessarily like I'm buying them to build right away. I just get it while I can. Scarcity.
Yeah, I'd made it through all the kits that I had, and then I bought several more, but one of them was involved, but the others were just, already populated boards that just had to put on jacks. And so
those are pleasant.
Yeah, I had three out of 4 of the last that I bought were like that. The Mux Lacer was not like that. It has 25 jacks and it's a very dense board, but it's a beautiful, beautiful board.
Yeah.
But then I have the 2 new the AI synthesis ones.
Yes.
And where I'm just missing there's one surface mount transistor on the VCO, and I have 2 of them already. And when I bought the 2 of them before, I bought 3 of this little transistor. I was like, in case I build a 3rd one, and it's somewhere. I have no idea where this little surface mount transistor is. And I remember putting it in a place that was like in a box that was like important and small or something like that. And again, I can't find that box. So anyway, what's
yeah.
So now
I've done that too. And it's why I have a weird amount of like L7805s and things like that. Because I've like misplaced them and I'm like, well, I need to order them.
Yeah.
The one kit that I've been like sort of intimidated by, like I've built a lot of weird stuff. I built like that DSO whatever oscilloscope a long time ago, and that one isn't like the most user-friendly kit. It's all through hole, but like all of the resistors are just like thrown in and unlabeled and things like that. So I would consider that a fairly mid to high difficulty in terms of like a soldering project. But the baseline, that thing is intimidating. It's all through hole and absolutely crammed together. So I have a choice. I can either build with the 1/4 watt resistors that I normally build with, or I can order, like painstakingly go through and order like a specific size of resistor that's a little bit smaller that fits in the footprint just slightly better. Because otherwise, with my resistors, they'll have to be up on end, which if I'm not careful, can like fold them over and make it short.
Yeah.
So that one, I'm trying to knock off some rust and get a few things built successfully before I get into that. And also, I've forgotten to order the sockets, so I need to order those probably tonight. I forgot that I need 3.5 millimeter sockets because I never use those. Like, I think I gave away the last ones I had. Yeah.
Wait, I was going to show. I did one thing that happened though is I went through all of my components. You know, like I have 4 boxes, 4 just out of reach, but you know, the IKEA box, like plastic boxes not that big, which have everything in them, and then a larger bin. And I went through everything looking for that one little transistor, and so I dug up some old stuff which I hadn't really looked at in a couple of years. And when I first got into modular, I just, you know, I didn't realize that there was how much there was to know about electrical engineering to make it actually work and not blow up. And there's not a lot, but there's more than I knew. And so anyway, but I was really gung ho, and I just like, you know, oh, CMOS chips, like ICs that do like, you know, flip flop, and you know, logic chips and all sorts of things. You know. So I just like bought one of each of like a whole bunch just to play with, and mostly didn't get them to work, and then did get a couple to work, and that was cool. But then basically I totally forgot about them. So
I don't know why that reminds me. Like, I was in Japan, and there were vending machines for ICs. Like, you didn't know what you were gonna get. It was one of like 25 different kinds. So that was. I feel like you sort of made your own version of that. Like, oh hey, like I've got this now.
Grab bag, yeah. There's a hacker space in New York City where I used to do my laser cutting, and they have a vending machine that has, you know, you can get candy, chips, you know, breadboards, you know, things like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Throw a few like teensies or something. That's cool. I don't think there's anything like that anywhere near me.
I was in the island of Penang in Malaysia one time, and that's I think the TI factory is there. And so, you know, whenever you're in a town, like there's the industry billboards up. So I live in Los Angeles, so there's a lot of movie and TV billboards up. You know, and then you go up to the Bay Area, and it's just like a lot of tech billboards up. You know, I loved it because in Penang there were big billboards with like resistors and, you know, components. You know,
That's so cool. Yeah, I would love to go. Now that I've done a bit more DIY stuff, I'd love to go to go back to these places that have just like components everywhere. I'd love to go to China, you know, like Shenzhen, hang out, buy way too many things. Yeah. Now I know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not stopping on Cosmo. Like, somebody asked me this morning if I'm like abandoning Cosmo and going full Eurorack, and I'm like, no. No. If anything, I'm gonna put that Eurorack. Let's see. Let's point. Yeah, I guess I can just point at it. I'm gonna put that probably where the MS10 is, and build another Cosmo column there to match this one. So.
You know what it's like? You've got this room, right? There's limited space in your room, and it's like gears. You know, like you're riding a bicycle or whatever. Like you're filling up. You're building synth. You're creating more and more synths. But like, in order to not run out of room, you know, basically you just need to shift the gears. So now it's smaller. You know, so you can fit more in, go a little farther.
Well, the Eurorack was so I can have a space to like I'm not gonna lie. Like, Cosmo is fairly limited. There are not very many Cosmo module makers. Relative to Eurorack, and it's kind of cool to have a place where I can swap out and play with both, and like, you know, have like my own little mini Cosmo. Like, if I want to take that into another room and play in there, I can do that, right? Like, you know, so it's kind of cool way to sort of like augment this. But like, even after playing with all of the Eurorack modules, Cosmo's better. I'm sorry. Like the sounds are comparable for sure, but the actual like usage of it is a lot better.
Yeah, I'd love to have like the space for a Cosmos system. So I think it's really cool that you can play with the both worlds
Yeah.
and mix them together if you wanted to.
And I'm lucky to have space. Like I do live like in the middle of a tiny town in the mountains, so like housing is cheaper than like if I was in Denver, I would have one Cosmo case and probably like a Mantis case or some smaller Eurorack case because I'd be able to build stuff or just be outside of some soldering, I could do some soldering still. You don't need much to solder. Got a handful of small bins and solder there.
It's nice to have a place where you can have things set up, though. That was the last, before I had this space here, it's just, the desk, like I had to set up everything, just like that extra step of getting everything out and then putting everything back into, completely enclosed case was just, it's not that hard, but it was just, one step too many to be able to just do a little bit. And,
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like I didn't have modules. Like I didn't build some modules for the better part of a year, but I had a couple kits lying around. And then finally one day I was like, I'm going to work on it for 10 minutes a day. And at the end of the week, they're done.
Yeah, in our little apartment, when I first got sort of a little addicted to synths, I had like a pocket operator and a roll-in boutique, and like I think my iPad or a small keyboard or something. I'd have to like dig everything out of their boxes, set it up on our coffee table, headphones. Finally get up. 15 minutes in, I get sounds going, and the MIDI's all working and everything, and then I put it away. So I just didn't play that much.
Speaking of mini sound things, my daughter's Tamagotchi had it in my pocket, so it was just demanding attention.
I just got a Tamagotchi. Hold on, be right back.
So they're all rich. Well, there is that Pixar movie that has just came out. So it takes place.
Oh, is that why I'm kind of seeing a resurgence of them?
I would imagine. Yeah. Speaker. They had to set the movie like just before the internet. Before like they have electronics, but there's no social media yet. So
right.
Late 90s.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, that's the flippy.
Yeah, it's the flipper. You probably can't because it's like too bright. But yeah, it's sort of like a wireless hacking Tamagotchi or NFC RFID thing. I'm not going to go too much into that, but it's pretty cool and it's been pretty fun so far. What the Tamagotchi? Yeah. Join us next Wednesday where we all have Tamagotchi and we're going to talk about how we kept them alive for 15 years. Just kidding, they're all dead. Yeah, I did have a Tamagotchi briefly, I think, and I hated it. Not because it wasn't bad, like I enjoyed it hatches and you feed it and it poops and all that fun stuff. But I feel like I went on I just forgot it for like a week or went to baseball or something. And I came back and it was like this angel dead Tamagotchi thing floating there, and for the life of me I couldn't figure out how to reset it. I mean, in hindsight it was probably like a paper clip to the back or something.
Yeah, that's when you hold these two buttons for a second.
Okay.
But they've changed the storyline though. It doesn't die anymore. It's now alien egg, and once you've raised it for a certain amount of time, or however many days, it returns to its home planet. Instead of just dying. So
that makes it more exciting because then you get maybe a new one the next time. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, then exactly. So you don't know which reset it. You don't know which. It's going to be a different one.
That's cool.
So it's like one day a little EMS, little waffle would
Now I kind of want to
for it.
I wonder how hackable Tamagotchi are.
I was just gonna ask. Yeah.
Like newer stuff, I think is less so, but maybe some of the older ones are a little more fun. I don't know.
As soon as he said EMS waffle, I started thinking, I wonder how we can make that happen.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So, hey, you got. forgot what I was gonna say. Egon's also getting one of those. I want to say the Bat low pass gate, though it's not technically a low pass gate. I don't think. It just behaves like a low pass gate. It's cooler than a low pass. It's like a complicated, over-engineered filter to act like a typical low pass gate, but with like fancier. It's like really cool.
Yeah, what was the addition? There's an additional element in there that's.
Well, it's like at its core is like an MS-20 filter, so it's got some of that flavor to it, but it's they're doing a lot more with it. He was kind of cagey about it when he was talking about it on the stream, so I don't really know the specifics, but it sounds like it's pretty cool. I'm the most excited about what their new design language is going to be, like for their shoot, what's that like? All-in-one thing that they made a few times.
The life forms?
I don't know if it's life forms. It's something else. Like it's a third version of one of the things that they make. But I'm excited to see. I think they're announcing it at the Super Booth, and it'll be the design language they use going forward for various things. Like they have, you mentioned a mixer that they're making. That's 2 panels that are 52 HP wide.
That's a voltage lab.
Voltage Lab, yeah, Voltage Lab 3.
I played with Voltage Lab 2 or whatever the one was that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
One day, and it was I only had like 15 minutes. Got a perfect circuit, and it was cool.
It's a cool like. If I was gonna get somebody that was into synths and stuff, like into modular, I'd probably start there. I guess when Monster Instrument.
It was also. I really liked the touch plate sequencer thing a lot. And I know this had like a module that you get separately and it was part of something else, but it was like 5 and 5. And you can work together and you can work with touch plate and you can also be a sequencer. And I really liked that. I thought, okay, I didn't have any sort of touch plate, didn't have any sort of, I had like an SQ1. I would really like something like this. And I was like, Renee, it's too expensive and too big for me to buy right now. And, I was just trying to figure out, and I was like, maybe I can start to build one. Okay, I got a teensy, I get some pennies as the touch, do that thing. And I was like, trying to like either dream up or figure out what would be a good sort of thing that would do all of that to control my no coast, which I had just gotten not too long. I got not too long before.
Yeah.
It's like I need something that matches the no coast. It's a touch plate controller, sequencer, thing of thing. And then literally the next 2 days later, they announced the no control. I was like, well, that's
done.
So
I think those are so cool. Like, probably not in the near future, but at some point I want to give Make Noise a lot of money for cool stuff. Like, I think so many their modules are really, really cool and really fun. Like, most of the music I tend to stream is more predictable sounds, but the stuff I like to do on my own, like with the Soft Pop 2 and Soft Pop, are like right in the same vein as Make Noise, where there's a lot of discovery, a lot of fun, just really weird, cool stuff that I don't know, I'd love to try out. Like the No Coast and the No Control just look really fun.
Yeah, I mean the No Coast, it's just like a Swiss Army modular. Just any part of it. Like I use individual sections of it all the time. Slope or whatever.
Yeah. And that's typically how I use the maths too. I'm thinking about maybe a maths alternative. We'll see. Not because maths is bad, but because I need like 2 HP for a thing. One of those people. Yeah. Like right now I pretty much just use maths for slew and like voltage offsets and stuff. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm sort of hoping that, I keep wanting to point at the screen, but I'm hoping that case will be sort of my Swiss Army knife in terms of like the whole setup. So maybe like right in the middle, sort of near my main Cosmo case, so I can go back and forth between them. I can now, but like it's a little precarious with like a 8-foot cable or something. And I don't have a lot of those, and I'm not going to make Bartok make 8-foot cables again.
I will if you need them.
Yeah, I hope I don't. That's why I'm gonna probably keep Cosmo and that's because I've got like it's easy to find long instrument cables that can do that. So.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what you want to talk about. Anything else? I haven't even checked the thingy. Oh, hiking. Let's talk about hiking. I am excited about hiking because it's like starting to be hiking season almost here. I think we're gonna probably go do some uphilling, so hike up a mountain and ride down this weekend just to like start to get our hiking legs back. Also, it's sort of spring is the safer time to ski around in the backcountry because I don't want to die. Avalanche #1 deaths place is right here. So I'm excited. We're planning some trips with a lot of hikes involved. I know you just went on a hike, but not only that, you like recorded it in a way.
Yeah. I figured it out today. I hiked 338,000 HP. I was actually walking along. I was like, it's this cliffside. It's my favorite hike now. It's the second time I've done. The first part of that hike I did one time before, and I was like, this is my favorite hike. And so I did that, and then I kept going.
And you went like 3,000 vertical too, which is.
So it starts out at like the trailhead is.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-minute drive from my house, and it's like about 1,800 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the mountain was like 3,800 feet. It was actually right up next to Mount Wilson. When I got to the top part of it, I looked over Mount Wilson right there, and that's not a small mountain. It's not a Colorado mountain, but I will say that from there, the next mountain's over. We have 10,000 foot mountains here, so it's like.
How long did it take you to do that hike?
It was about 4.5 hours.
All right, shock value. I think you can probably do some conversion from 4.5 hours into parsecs because parsecs is a unit of time.
But
there you go.
But then, no, I mean, like in terms of mixing, who used it parsecs as distance?
It's Han Solo.
Yeah.
But it wasn't his distance; it was his time.
It was his time. Okay.
It was clarified in the recent movie, but
are the same thing. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Recent-ish.
Right.
It's a few years old now.
Yep. May the 4th day.
Ooh, the Olympic peaks. Those are serious.
Socks. I can't really see there.
Was that VB8?
No, they're old. That was VPO and.
I didn't do a very good job. There's like still beer on my desk mat. I'm gonna have to clean that after this. That's why I'm standing far back here.
But I'd say like the hike today. It's normally Southern California is very dry. I mean, it's just most of the time it's it rains for a month or two and then it dries up. But it's been really there have been a lot of clouds around the mountains there every day for months and in the morning and. I've never seen it so green. It's amazing. Everything, like all the grass that's usually the sort of golden pink grass, is bright green, and there's grass everywhere. And
yeah, I feel you on that. That's so cool.
Wildflower, these yellow flowers are 8 feet high. It was really cool. It did not feel like Southern California at all.
Yeah, for those not familiar, where we all live in different deserts, it's usually fairly brown most of the year.
Yeah.
So when it's green, it's like really cool and like I don't know, it's exciting. Do you have like afternoon storms you have to worry about? I guess that's a thing that I always have to think about. Like if I'm gonna do a hike, you got to start early so you're down off like below tree line by 10 or 11.
We got a summer storm last summer in August. I think there was an afternoon summer thunderstorm here. That's the first one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was like an East Coast like.
Yeah, here it's pretty much like head on, like get up early and keep your head like on a swivel. Like if you see any clouds, like if they don't necessarily have to look super suspicious, but like probably if you're above tree line, it's probably a good idea to like turn around.
Yeah.
Go the other way. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Gonna do a lot more outdoor stuff. So I'll try to keep it to just Saturdays so that what the heck can be on Sundays. I like the Sunday time the best because the most folks can come, like European folks can come, and it's not like 4 a.m. Awful time for them. So looking forward to getting back to that. But I have a wilderness first responder course I'm taking over the next couple weeks. Not this weekend, but next weekend and one after. And after that, I think I'll be back to what the heck's on Sundays. Yeah, I'm good. It's basically like glorified lifeguard class, but in the mountains. Like how to stop bleeding and all this stuff. Because we hang out in the mountains a lot.
Now, do you ever bring a little synth along? A little backpack synth?
I don't have a lot of... Well, I actually have brought synths along.
Microcosmo.
I'm going to come back to that idea in a second. The OPZ is the one that's come with me the most places for obvious reasons. It's very small and light, and I can toss it in any backpack. I think the soft pop is also really cool, and I brought it a few places, but the thing about it is that it... this one. The new one's similar, but like the faders I'm a little worried about breaking because they stick out pretty good. So like if I don't have like the right case, I'm not as confident just like sliding in a backpack.
Yeah. Should you get a little Pelican case or something for it?
Yeah. Well, what I'm planning actually, so yeah, I've been wanting to do stuff mobile, and the OPZ does not. Well, it's really fun. Doesn't really cut it for me in terms of sound design. Like I have sound sculpting abilities, so like based on what teenage engineering has come up with their voices, I can modify some of the parameters, but it's very different than like coming up with a voice. But the Dirty Wave M8 has my attention. I pre-ordered that like, a couple months ago, so hopefully in July that'll show up, or June or whatever. And that's the one I'm hoping will be sort of my mobile go-to device, so I can toss that in a pack. It's very compact. It's got some keyboard mechanical keys, so if I like break those, I can swap them out. Easy peasy. Like it's gonna be my go-to thing, I think. So.
What about any field recordings during your hikes? Because I know Enthusiastic, you had a mic strapped to your.
You have a Pelican case.
I've never done that. I have a Zoom H1 that I'm going to start bringing with me on hikes because it's really light and compact.
I have a old Sony PCM. It's got like some decent built-in little stereo mics, and it doesn't have all the inputs of a Zoom. It's pre-Zoom, and it's really old, but it just it does what it needs to do, and so I haven't replaced it. But the thing is that the Zoom, you need to put stock on it. But what I used today was I have this little. It's a Tascam backpack, but it's a little lapel mic, and it's the same form factor as a wireless microphone transmitter, just a tiny little one that you like a pack that. Only it's a recorder instead, so there's no because a good wireless transmitter and receiver is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And this was not as expensive, and I don't really need, I don't have a mixer or anything like that, so it's like if it was coming in, it wouldn't give me much good. So, just
can you drop a link to that at some point? Because I'm curious about that. Like that would be really cool.
Sure. Yeah. Well, let me figure out.
And I need to get a windsock for the H1. But I was thinking, I get into places. I was thinking this winter, I get into places that they're. I think like Ben Jordan has done some videos of trying to get like recordings where there's just no people. I'm quite often in places where there's like no evidence. There's not even like airplanes going overhead. Like it's just quiet. So I can set it out, hit record, walk 1,000 feet away and just let it go for 20 minutes or so, and get some nice like nature sounds to throw up on wherever for folks to use.
I've got some old some sound recordings that I've done over the years, which I've never done anything with, but that includes like a mountain stream, all sorts of sounds. New York City. I used to go I would do things when I was commuting on the subway. There were a couple times where I just record the entire trip, and so I've got those somewhere. I should use those for something, but that's where I wish the Soma Ether anti-radio. I really I love that kind of thing. And I go around to the little suction cup thing, which I know you have, little pickup. If you put that right up to something that makes sound, it'll sound great. But this just picks up. I would like that. I wanted that, but now I'm not commuting on the subway. I'm if I was every day going through heavy urban area, I could justify it for sure. But right now there are other things that are higher on the list.
Yeah, those are cool things. The Soma Field Kit also seems like one that would be really fun to go just hang out there. It's weird because there's a lot of cool sounds out there. Right now, there's a lot of dead there's dead trees standing, and when there's just breezes, you'll hear them creaking and stuff like that. It'd be cool. So I probably will do more of that this year, and find a place to upload it. I don't really care who. I'm not trying to. I don't want anyone. I just want people to use their stuff.
For anyone who doesn't know that thing of the Soma Ether, it's a little box about that big, and what it is the way they describe it is with a radio. There's all these radio frequencies coming through the air, and the way that a normal radio works is you tune it so that you filter out all the frequencies except for the very specific one that you want to listen to. And this does the opposite of that. This you hear all the frequencies, all the things coming. So you walk around, and it's just Heimbach's got to good at walking around.
Yeah, it sort of looks like this, and it picks up magnetic. I think this one. Well, I don't know if it's electro. It just picks up radio waves.
Yeah. iPod or phone. It's like that. A rubber. Looks like a hard drive.
Yeah.
But
Radiator asks how I'm getting along with the Apex Hotbox. I love it. There's things I would like to see them add or change, but I'm not convinced enough to get rid of my pyramid. If that tells you anything, for a couple of reasons. One, the pyramid cannot be topped in terms of number of things it can sort of connect to. It has 32 available tracks. That means if I want to be able to edit a track on an instrument, if I want to be able to edit a sequence on an instrument while another sequence on that instrument is playing, I can have two parallel tracks for that instrument and just have one of those muted and edit it. Then I can swap them out when I'm ready. There's a lot of cool stuff. It's also really good at polyrhythms. The pyramid is. The Hotbox, I think, is going to be good. I haven't spent enough time writing a lot of new material with polyrhythms yet with it, but it doesn't have on the pyramid. I could be really quickly I want 11/15ths or something, right? I can get real weird with it really fast, or 11/4ths or something, unusual time signatures, and I can dial it in. I don't have to know what that sounds like going into it. With this one, it's got elasticity per track, so if I know some math involved, I can get pretty close to those triplets and things. It's just a really good sequencer overall. I think for live stuff, which is what I'm planning, I want to do a set that's an hour long. I don't think it could be topped because I can save stuff while it's playing. There's no interruption when I'm saving. That's a big deal. I can load a second project and I can mix tracks together. So if I have two things I played enough to know, I'd be okay, well I want to slowly bring in this one, or I can play back and forth. There's some interplay between those tracks, or I can just switch song. All of that while it's playing is huge for me. So those things alone have made it my primary for now. Still a handful of bugs. I would love to see some things change, but they're already on it, so we'll see. Basically, I like it. Also the hardware is really good. Bartok also has one of those dealios.
So I got off camera to go find it. I made this. It's basically I took a metal tin with a screw-on lid and put a piezo pickup inside, and then I hot glued that down. Waited for that to kind of dry. I might have used epoxy, and then and then I filled it with like nuts and bolts to give it some weight, and then added more epoxy, and then I dipped it into like a plasta dip material, and I did enough to go like up my cable a bit, and then made it super long.
So it's waterproof.
So it's waterproof, and then I connect this to like my H5 to do some field recordings like in streams, or just also like an ice, put it in a cup with water and ice and just like slosh it around, get some interesting noises. But I have a couple recordings that I have from some camping trips where we were next to a river, and I would just kind of go out and let it sit and get some cool sounds.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Healthy nice to do.
Maybe I should like make myself a quick. I have like when you order things in bulk, sometimes you buy more than you need. Like in the case of piezos, I think it was like a few cents per. So I was like, sure, I need 30. So now I have like 25 piezos to do something with. So I think
I have a pack of piezos too, because it was the same thing. Like like I needed one for that, and it's like $1 just gives you a pack of so many.
And there's a little bit of freedom in that. Like I was, normally if I have a component and I want to do something weird with it, I'll have to like search up to see if anybody's done it. But this case, like with piezos, I was like, that's a little too big, it's a little too wide. I'm just gonna see if cutting it will mess it up. Like I don't care. Like if I break it, oh well, there's 29 more. Like I don't know. Yeah.
Call it a hydrophone, and probably worry that the mic be a hydrophone.
Yeah, I think it would be a hydrophone because it's waterproof, right?
Yeah, hydrophone. The difference with mine is like I don't have a little like the amp. You can build them maybe if you had a bigger tin and put in the components to have a little amp pick built into it, and that would give you some better audio quality. Mine is just a piezo soldered to the microphone cable.
Those are they need a lot of gain.
Yeah, they need an amp. I mean, for those that aren't familiar, piezo is just a little disc.
Ceramic disc, which can be, it generates, as it vibrates, it generates a little bit of electricity, and to work as a microphone. Or it goes the other way around. If you put electricity into it, it vibrates, and it makes a buzzing sound, which you will recognize from cheap things that go.
Yeah. So this is my shoddy, probably one of the first ones I did to a socket. I have actual like cable sockets that I can use now, but
two big ones that I wired with I had a toy piano. It was this toy piano, and I just gaffer taped two large pieces to it.
Right.
And then put like a 1/4-inch jacks, drilled some holes in the back of the piano. So I put two of them spaced apart. So I thought, well, maybe sometimes I'll just use one. But there was enough separation, so there was a bit of stereo.
And they sound good. Like there's a certain tone they can have, but like overall, I think they sound really good. Like if you look at expensive like electric acoustic guitars, oftentimes there's like straight up like one of these, or like the brother of one of these tends to be more like a long strip shape right under the bridge. So like it's the same exact thing. Cool stuff. I'll probably send some piezos to folks that don't want them at some point.
Well, I just want to say one thing that reminded me of people melting ice. I saw this really cool installation in New York once, which was I don't remember exactly what it looked like, but it was giant blocks of ice that were mic'd and amplified, and it was there for like a week or something like that. And the sound of it.
That's so cool. I bet that was incredible.
Pretty cool.
Improbable Safari. I think this is before your like time on EMS, but I used to like be in a laundry room just a few months ago, and I had my like washing machine and dryer piezoed up permanently just because they're great CV sources.
I had a system for that I rigged to drums for a band that I did visuals for live, and so I put a pizza on each of the drums on the drum kit, and then had that going into there were 6 of them, and it was a MIDI drum kit.
Oh, so it took real drums into MIDI drums.
Well, what it was designed for, the drum kit was you're supposed to be able to just put the pizzas on anything and make your own like electric drum pad.
Yeah.
What it would do is it could convert each one into a MIDI signal that would then put in your computer.
Right,
so,
that's
so
cool.
You're supposed to like cut out pads, like mouse pads or whatever, just like make your own, or coffee tins,
Yeah.
But instead, I put them on actual drums, and instead of making sound, what it did is it triggered different video events. So one was wired to a different video effect that was being projected onto the band, so it effectively was lights. So
oh no, what I want you to do
That's pretty cool.
is to take that video, edit out the actual drum sounds, use that MIDI to put in like, I don't know, lo-fi like Game Boy MIDI drums. I don't know, some like plonky, terrible sounds that don't quite match up to what's happening, but like the timing's exact.
Right.
Anyway, I think we've gone long. I think it's good to call it, unless anybody else wants to talk about stuff, ask questions, whatever. I'm excited to get back to playing with these filters, and you know what? I might do a quick little filter demo before I go. What's that you just picked up?
I don't want to go too much longer or anything like that, but I did want to say this is something I was thinking about. This is a touch strip controller that I built.
Yeah.
And I, for some reason, I built it a couple years ago, and I made these videos years ago, and for some reason in the last couple of weeks, I've gotten a bunch of people commenting, asking how I did this and everything like that. And this is like just a box that the record needle came in. But
it looks nice.
That's the inside. So basically, it's just.
Is that a breadboard?
Yeah. Well, it's the
proto board.
Good perma proto board. So it's it's a high quality proto board that looks like a breadboard.
Yeah.
And but it's really nice. It's good quality. So it's not cheap. But anyway, so basically that's a trigger or gate, and so and these are just auxiliary, voltage that you can send to whatever you want. So it's if you plug that into the gate and pitch CV of a synth, and you can
super cool, super performable.
Yeah, it's great, and it worked really well, and then it stopped working really well. And I realized also since I built this that it's totally wrong. I need to buffer. I have enough capacitors, so it's okay. I have enough resistors, so it's safe-ish. But I don't have any op amps, and I feel like what I need to do is an op amp.
At least a little TLO 71 or 2.
But I'm also considering making this, so I might redo this with that sparkly green enclosure that I'm talking about. And and maybe sort of document a better, a buffered version of it. A better, maybe put in the regulators and all that. But I'm also considering putting a teensy in here and just using this, turning it into a sequencer, putting a strip of LEDs along here, and
that's cool.
Make that so
make it switchable so you can do both. Either.
Yes.
If you could make that though, forget the teensy, I'll take that version in a 1U format.
Yes. Or this is just this. This is a soft pot you can get from Mouser, and it's who makes this thing. There's only one Spectra.
I'm gonna stop us because we've been going for a while.
Very long. Well, I'm just saying, it's 3M strips. You can stick it on here.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, just on the edge of your case, easy peasy.
Oh, that would be cool.
And,
sign me up for that one.
Yeah, that's cool. Shock value. You're up after this. That thing is so great. Okay, sorry, I was distracted.
Right,
couple things.
One, trying to up and I stopped it. So.
Modular is happening. The themes. It's essentially the EMS challenge of the month. There's 2 themes because there was a tie. One is nature, flora and fauna. The other one is homemade, so you can do what you want with those, but I highly recommend participating. Any stream that sort of falls into either of those categories. Let us know in the Modular channel on the Discord, and we'll get you added to the playlist. And at the end of the month, we'll go through highlights. That was really fun, I thought, last month. What else?
The other thing to keep an eye out for is Drone Day.
Yep.
International Drone Day. We're participating in that again this year.
Is that the 28th? I think it's the 28th.
I think it's the 28th. So just keep an eye out on the Discord. We haven't officially announced it yet, but when we do, the spots to sign up fill up fast.
Yep. And what else was I going to say? Radiator is going to be on What the Heck eventually. And we're going to probably talk ham radio and like modular and all that fun stuff. What else? If you haven't streamed on EMS, or if you have, everyone should just stream on it. Again, very low expectations, and you'll have people like super stoked. So, if you haven't done it and you know who you are, join the club. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna play us out, which means I won't be able to talk. So,
play us out.
Yeah, I'm switching the audio really awkwardly and slowly right now. I feel like, here we go.